Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Sciria. That's Robert Harding. Welcome to the Citizens Punt, Pass, and Chat podcast playoff divisional round special edition video.
Boom!
Wow.
Take a breath there, Chris. Looks like you need some oxygen.
Oh, yes. All righty. 4 playoff games. This is one of the best weekends of the sports calendar. Not just the NFL calendar, the sports calendar. I mean, 4 playoff games. We're talking wall-to-wall football. Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and then all Sunday afternoon. It is a pigskin cornucopia, okay? It's great stuff. With that, we'll get right to the games. We'll go to the Saturday games first. Our first one is New Orleans at Seattle. They're playing this game at 1 o'clock local time. It's you figured this would be a good night game, but anyways, these two teams are very familiar with each other. New Orleans went up to Seattle a few weeks ago, got absolutely blown out. New Orleans overcame their road jinx, finally won a road playoff game at Philadelphia last weekend. Drew Brees played good. I mean, their defense was good when it counted. Seattle obviously coming off their bye. I know New Orleans could beat Seattle, but I'm going with the Seahawks. I just think it's going to be very loud at Quest Field. I know it's supposed to be bad weather, rain, wind. It doesn't help out Drew Brees' passing game. I just think the Seahawks they're on a mission. They're on a mission. And my buddy from college, Vincenzo, the Seahawks fan, going back to the 80s, he's going to be pretty excited for this game. I know that. And he's going to be pretty happy because I know the Seahawks are going to win this game.
Chris with the shout-out, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing wrong with that. A little plug.
Very nice. I'm taking the Seahawks as well. I think the Saints winning last week, that was a nice step for them, but
right.
I don't think they can do it twice in a row. Seattle, just too much, I think. Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, they can bring...
Percy Harvin's playing.
Yeah. They can bring the total package on offense, and then, of course, there's that great defense.
And what's Seattle's strength on defense?
Everything.
They're secondary. They're secondary, right. and that's really
one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Right.
Arguably the best cornerback in the league with Richard Sherman.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that secondary is tough to play against.
Our second game is Indianapolis at New England. I'm going to give a shout out to Bob Sosi, Auburn High, 1985 graduate, guy that I've known for a long time. He is the play-by-play announcer for the Patriots. He'll be doing that game, his first playoff game. We wish him well. I'm not sure if the audio is going to be streamed online if you're interested in listening to it, but if we know anything, we'll put that on Twitter for you. You can check that out on our Twitter feed. Anyways, we have a football game here. The Colts, this team, unbelievable. The way they came back, 38-10, they were down. They pull off the second greatest comeback in NFL postseason history. Robert remembers the first. Even though he was in diapers back then, he does remember it.
Diapers, come on.
Anyways,
I was in training pants.
You gotta. That's good. You gotta look at it one of two ways. Either the Colts are really a good team to be able to come back from 4 touchdowns down, or the Chiefs just absolutely blew this game and should have won it going away. I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. That being said, they're going into New England, and as the Patriots are banged up on defense, they've got a bunch of no names on offense, except for Tom Brady. And that obviously is what we usually say is the key to any Patriots game. If you can't stop Tom Brady, you're not going to beat the Patriots. This is a team that was down 24-0 to the Broncos at home at halftime, came back and won the game. This is a team that trailed the Browns by 2 scores with about 2 minutes left, came back and won the game. They find ways to pull rabbits out of hats like nobody's business, okay? The Colts are going to have to play an incredible game on defense. They just don't have the horses on defense to do it. I think Luck will keep it interesting, but I think eventually Luck is going to make a mistake.
The luck is going to run out.
I guess you could say that. Ha-ha. And I like New England in this game. I think they're going to score about 30 points, and I like the Patriots to advance to the AFC Championship game.
Earlier this year, I made my prediction. I said the Broncos and Colts will play in the AFC Championship game. And I'm not going against
Wow, he's sticking with the Colts.
Going with the Colts in New England. It's going to be a tougher game. Right. It's not going to be a home game against the Chiefs like it was last week. They're going to have to play well all 4 quarters. I think they'll pull it out. It's going to be close. It's going to be tough. Never counting out Tom Brady, but okay. I hate to bet against him, especially at home in Foxborough, but I'm going with the Colts.
All right. Hey, man with stay with his courage of convictions. Got to appreciate that. The first Sunday game is San Francisco at Carolina. Carolina's obviously the big surprise of the whole NFL season. Nobody expected them to get to the playoffs, much less get the first round bye, get a home playoff game. Cam Newton is playing great football this season. Really an amazing story. But the 49ers have had their ups and downs this year, but now they're on an up, and they're on a big up. They went into Green Bay last week, and that 20 to 30 degree wind chill, and they really came out and played a great game. Colin Kaepernick played excellent football, and they came out of Lambeau with a win. And they know how to win on the road, obviously. They know how to get to the Super Bowl. They did it last year. I like the Niners in this game. I just think the playoff experience helps. I just think that Colin Kaepernick is just going to, again, play another good game, no mistakes, and it's going to be close. It could be a field goal game, but I do like the Niners.
I go back to my NFC Championship game predictions. I believe I know I had the Seahawks, but I believe it was the Niners and the Seahawks. I'm taking the Niners. Played a great game last week against the Packers in Lambeau. That's not easy to do,
no, it's not.
Especially given the conditions. You mentioned it on the podcast this week. Panthers are inexperienced. 49ers are coming in, team with a little bit more experience. They've had a couple long runs in recent years. A great defense. I think it will be a low-scoring game, but I think Kaepernick and the Niners will pull this one out.
Okay.
On the road.
The last game of the weekend. San Diego, Denver. It's an AFC West matchup. Think about it. These two teams have played against each other every year since 1960. Okay, we're talking 63 years of football history here. No, 53, I'm sorry. Hello! Hope none of my math teachers are watching. That's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? 53
The pride of Auburn High.
Yes, class of 85. Anyways, San Diego went into Denver a few weeks ago and beat the Broncos. You can kind of see they kind of started their run to get into the playoffs. And they did really demolish Cincinnati last week. You got to tip your cap to the Chargers. They did a great job of going into Cincinnati and absolutely...
Who picked the Chargers to win?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I know. I give you credit. You went, would you go, 3-1?
No.
2-2. And I was 1-3.
Yep.
Horrible weekend.
Picked up a game.
Yeah. And, the Chargers, and I've been saying it all year, the Chargers could win this game. I think that's been the mantra for the entire season. The Chargers could win. The Chargers could win this game. They won in Denver a few weeks ago.
Thursday night.
But you know something here? This is the playoffs. This is Peyton Manning. And yes, Peyton has had a history of bad playoff games at the worst time. I don't think it's going to be this week. I'm not saying it couldn't happen next week. I'm not saying it couldn't happen in the Super Bowl. But it's not going to happen this week. I think the Chargers, it goes both ways. Teams are very familiar with each other, being divisional opponents. But I want to think that Denver hosting a playoff game, Peyton Manning, Wes Welker, they've had a week to rest. They're healthy as they can be. I know that Von Miller's out and everything.
Right.
But I like the Broncos in this game, and I think they're going to win probably by about 2 touchdowns.
Oh, another bold prediction from the gut. I'm taking the Broncos as well. I don't think they'll have a repeat of what happened a few weeks ago. There's something about Thursday night games that there's always that element of surprise.
Right.
You're playing on short rest,
Right.
but this time around, the Broncos have the advantage in the rest department. They've been off for a week. They got the bye, of course. The Chargers had to play last week. That was a tough game. Now they come into Denver, and I just don't see Peyton Manning and the Broncos, giving this one up, especially on home turf. It could end up being a close game. We talked about this on the podcast again. These are two teams that are familiar with each other, divisional foes. You never know what can happen in these games between division opponents, especially in the playoffs. Chargers are a team better than advertised. I think better than their record shows, really. But I'm going to stick with the Broncos.
Okay, so I think we agree on 3 of the 4.
Yep. Colts and Patriots is the only.
Okay, so
only difference.
you might be able to pick up a game. We got to look at our standings. I have to admit we didn't really update them lately. We need to figure out exactly who is ahead. We know why I'm ahead, but just by how much, really. So I know it would be funny if we go through the records and you're actually ahead. It'd be really funny. So, anyways, folks, we appreciate you watching the video and are listening to our podcast, which is also on auburnpub.com. Enjoy the football games, and we'll see you next week for the conference championship games, folks. Take care.